All right, hey there, folks. This might be the last episode of this campaign. I don't know. I've kind of felt that way for a number of episodes, so maybe we have like 5 more in the bag, but we will see. If you're just joining us or don't recall where things were left off, it's close. Like, it is close. All right, so we're at about 57 on average, and they are at about 57 on average. And so as the morale and the support converge towards one another, we'll see who outlasts who. Thankfully, we're up a little bit in national morale because I think it's once we go under 50, we lose. And yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But the gist is this, is that if either side takes the other's capital, which I don't believe has happened in this campaign, they should knock the other side's national morale down to the point that they will be out of the war. And we have the only force that is somewhat between DC and Richmond, and we're not even on, well, one of the other direct routes. If they're able to steal a march on us and then cross down here, right, this very narrow, this ends up being a peninsula out here, but anyways, this very narrow gap here, we're in trouble, and the war may well be over. So that's where things are. We recruited an extra division. We reached our cap. The cap size, so I'll show you the force if you don't recall it, but we can't have more than 12 units below us. I guess, I don't know if that's a core command thing or if that's the result of this. We have been stuck. Oh! I was gonna say, we've been stuck waiting for this for a long time. How long is a long time? More than 6 months? Kind of felt like a year. So July 63, we are Lieutenant General, and I wonder now, I don't know if it's, let's see, oh wait, so we can add more, as if we had more to add anyways, but the only place I would probably draw from would be West Virginia, because they're the ones with the national support that we probably wouldn't lose most of these troops to deserting or something else, and we may just end up doing that, because we are that only force, and I don't know what the heck else is over here. We have like decent, I mean, we're doing okay, and we certainly have the prestige for this. Speaking of which, are we running through the latest? Yeah, we are running through another take of political rally, so there's more prestige on the way, and I'm torn between wanting to get a larger force to move against DC and having a large enough force to try to repel whoever comes this way and just hope our friendlies get their act together. I don't know. I kind of feel like it's better to just move and go with it and hope that your smaller force actually carries the day. But yeah, Reynolds Cavalry, I mean, we're making moves out here. Army of Northeastern Virginia, tell us something. So maybe 39,000 Army of the Potomac. Maybe 5,000. I'm not concerned about one of those. But we got to get our readiness up first anyhow, before we even think about recruiting more. Given that we hold both forts on our side, I'm okay with that. Also, on the sound, I finally figured out in the previous episode that altering the sound coming through the headphones and through some of the other settings doesn't, in battle, when the gunshots are getting really loud, probably wouldn't have an effect. And you actually got to go back to OBS and you got to set it so that the kind of decibel offset doesn't peak in a certain area. So now that I'm aware of it, the battle, the drowning out in battle should be fixed, or at least much better than it was. It's a learning thing here with the new microphone and the new headset. I think both of those, but I think it's more. Good. Another city falls. I think that's actually just because of Frederick being taken again. I don't know that it was actually a new city falling. Do we need to prepare to go out on the attack here and join the Army of Trans-Mississippi? I think that this is actually pretty much a 1 division 4 brigade thing that I took in the last battle. Jeez, I don't know. What? What happened? What happened? What just went through that gave us plus 20 morale? I have no idea here. Here, I'm looking. Unfortunately, it goes off the bottom of the page. So, private wealth. No, this is kind of telling me how I lost it. Emancipation, I got +5. I got +5 from their USCT. I've gotten +3 from that through capture of forts and towns. Objectives, +20. Well, welp. I guess that's one of the things I did not mod out. The best laid plans. Yeah, I guess we've probably captured, or more like recaptured 10. The good news, if you can call it that, is that they've probably also recaptured close to the same amount. So, if they push me out, they should also get +20 in the national morale, and that will mean that this campaign is going to go much longer. All right, having seen that and seeing us go back to green readiness, I think now is the time to increase our force, probably by adding yet another division. And I know West Virginia is all depleted here, but here we'll get some Zouaves from West Virginia. Trousers, red, sure. And tannish up top, sure. Yeah, why not? And we'll go back to the West Virginia well, and all right, not too many now. No, we're not going to keep the red pants. Rust brown. How about butternut? How about it? There we go. All right, that is that's you. And then we'll add some artillery to both of these. Okay, so we have enough in Tennessee for some artillery. Yeah, there you go. So we'll recruit a full-on battalion there, and South Carolina I usually use, and for odd reasons I usually add red to something that they're wearing. So, all right, and that'll be them. So they already have weapons upgrades. I don't remember if there are even enough weapons available. All right, I guess there are. So we'll do that. What do we have? We have Napoleon, James. All right, we want the old reliable Napoleons, and this is not by any means the most efficient use of prestige. Oh, and so then we have to either take another James or Napoleon. More Napoleons, please. So, that is that. And, alright, that makes us a sizable host. Notice that our battle experience has come down now, and I'm guessing that's... which is actually kind of nice, because you're adding a lot of troops who haven't fought. So, I'm actually willing to let this campaign run. If the Union can retake what they've lost, and they get back to that taken 10 cities thing, and get... Actually, it said forts and objectives, so I don't know. Maybe they have to capture a few more forts and cities. I don't know. Doesn't matter, but we'll see. Hopefully that because of the convergence that we have built in this game, we actually get some of the support back too. That should make for a far more interesting campaign, I would think. All right. So we're waiting on a lot more troops to show up. Let's get some ETAs. 32 days, 2 months basically, and a month, and for these a couple of weeks. So yeah, we don't actually have them, and we're probably gonna have to throw some more into training. Yeah, you can see that our training dropped from very good on average to regular, anticipating these new arrivals. So that's okay. Let's take a quick visit to the camp here. All right, so we already don't have a lot in training. We have a lot in recruitment. I think this might be a mistake. So that's because that's only dealing with replacement speed. And our replacement numbers are okay. They're not great. But to be missing 1,000 in a force that should eventually be 33,000, we have a high effectives ratio. So I'm okay with that. Morale is absolutely fine. So I can't put any more into this because we're going to need it for other things. We're going to need it for training. Let's put that there. Yeah, and I'm going to start... Okay, well, sorry. Okay, we're going to bring this down by a bit. And move this up a bit. And, yeah, hope for the best. Disaster at Fort Donelson. Disasters happen. Alright, so we have not made much of our campaign season. I want to see... Huh. Their morale is still dropping. I mean, they do... Yeah, they have to get us out of their territory so that will help them. They have to get us out here. It's hard, though, because of the manpower thing. Whatever is going on, and it just may well be something I've done in modding. But I cannot imagine what it is. I really want to just hop on their side and just go on a recruiting binge and get their numbers up to make this campaign work. But when this campaign ends, I've pretty much made up my mind the next campaign is going to be a regular... well, it's going to be a non-whiskey and lemons union campaign. Because it's the union AI that struggles the most at the strategic level. And so if I can do it rather than the AI, then go ahead and do it. The CSA usually does fine on the... It does well enough on the strategic level. I remember, I saw that we burned our own depots here earlier. I don't know why. Union bounties offered. Okay, well that's good for them. That should, if they were held up on account of, I don't know, that manpower stuff, manpower limitations, then that should help. What did it just say? My action was done? I believe that's what it said. It is. I'm torn between these two. I don't need the fame. It's not going to help. Increase the experience of infantry and your fame by 10. Infantry XP is fine. Right, that was that one. And then this one, marksmanship is just... It's kind of nondescript. Just says increases infantry experience in your unit and your leadership. Huh. So, that almost, the way it's phrased makes me wonder if they mean a brigade or if it actually means everything. So even though this might be wasted fame, let's wait till they're here. Let's wait till they've actually touched down, and then we can go ahead and run that through. I will do another, while I'm sitting here, and we got a month or so to spare, we'll do another political rally and make sure that we got prestige. Again, we're okay on prestige. Money, it is lower, but when I look at the things that I could spend money on at this point in the campaign, it doesn't feel like there's much. I'm not too sure about that. I can see that our morale did not stay up for long, and it hasn't really brought our support up, which is too bad, because those two are supposed to converge toward one another. And it looks like right now, the morale is converging towards the support, but not vice versa. Unless there are other things that are kind of static draining our support, and so it treading water is actually what it's doing instead of going up. That could be. Alright, looks like they got a fun one. They're probably fighting on the Antietam map, having a blast without me. This looks promising. Is starting to pay off. Good, good. So they did recruitment bounties 1. Okay, they want me to take the offensive where? It's going to be the same area. Yeah, it's always right here is where they should. Oh, and they got wiped over here. Well, that's something. Our training level is back up to good. Let's zoom out so that doesn't deafen anybody. Because right now I have the... Okay, yeah. Don't tell me like every 3 minutes that I need to go on an offensive. But I had the audio on right now that it's up to kind of the max here because we're not in battle. All right, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. All right, let's keep running this at 20x. Oh my goodness. We get it. You want us to move on the offensive. But in the greatest of McClellan traditions, no. No, we're not going to do that. I really want to see if their manpower comes back now that they're starting to move through. I guess it's this part of the Union stuff. I actually don't know what we are researching here. Alright, this is probably one of those times where I should quiet the in-game, but... Are we not researching something? We just took off? We retired? We're not doing bounties, which is silly. We should. I'm sure we're researching something. I just do not. I don't know what I've missed here. Okay, Ag 1. I know that we recently did impressment, which I remarked about how odd that was, that we did it this late. Well, I'm sure we actually are researching something and I'm just not seeing it. We still haven't done diplomacy. So the AI personalities that are set for this apparently must not be fully clicking. Too bad, but it's weird because in other ways it is working. I just don't get it. Like they're doing basically the policy direction I set for them and basically the acts, but some of it doesn't work. Some of it isn't going through on schedule, so I don't know. Oh my goodness. Do I make you suffer with me and watch this? I don't know. We have less than 2 months of campaign season. We've lost 10 points of morale. Yeah, nothing doing in terms of our support. That's a big old battle at Baltimore. Looks like they took on way more. Yeah, way more than they could manage. And have been duly routed. Out west, what's going on? Looks like the Union is counter-pushing. Well, I was going to say us. Man. I think this is actually the really profitable rail line too. It's expensive, but I think it's the really good one. Yeah, it looks like they're counter pushing us. I was gonna say out of Kentucky, except for this army up here, which is now out of supply. Weapons are delivered. Oh, now you're gonna get Jocelyn's. Well, that's fine. We're fine. Army of the Potomac is pursuing Reynolds' cavalry. Probably will get them. Okay. Zoom out before that gets too loud. We're looking real sparse over here in the east. Well, at least in Northern Virginia. Right? Of course, we have a large force in Delaware, Pennsylvania, Maryland. Nobody really playing defense. Disaster at Somerset. So Polk's Corps is... This is it, yeah. Looks like some belated Pickett's Raiders. The Army of Florida. Looks like they're about to get intercepted. This don't look good. Yeah. You got to fall back to Knoxville. Well, at least you have the rail line there, but Tennessee looks wide open. If any Union spies are listening, and I think they would know that because I just think the game would know that, but yeah, Pickett's Raiders are done out there. No surprises. All right, so what don't we need? Now, we're kind of stuck with this number of disabled perpetually, though we actually have all of our forces are here and ostensibly training. Yeah. Let's see what things look like here. So recruitment is like that. That's okay. Yeah, readiness we'll keep building up until it's done. Drilling the troops looks like it's probably beyond max. So you can probably rotate an hour or two out of there. Or just keep it as it is, and we'll try to get all the new arrivals trained up. The national military experience is quite good, though it's actually higher for the Union because they've won more battles, right? So theirs is actually slightly better. They're now up over 210. I noticed that they went from 170 to 210. So that's interesting. I'm wondering if I just have to go into the personality and just change, pretty much just change the order in which the Union does things. I think with them, I went for eco first because I gave the AI, holy moly, like both sides are absolutely loving these railroads, which most of them aren't going to make their money back within a year or so, but yeah, we'll see. The Union, I notice, is now danger close to losing this campaign. Like, they need to retake cities and get that national morale buff that I got. And then I think they could stick around a little bit longer. But otherwise, this might be the last episode. Glorious victory. Yeah. Okay, that's over at Fort Donaldson. Out of curiosity, I wonder how well trained the newly arrived brigades actually are. Yeah, their training is poor. That makes sense. Though, I guess 2 months later. Okay, we won at Fort Henry. But look how fast we lost that national morale. Right, we've lost 15 points of national morale, but our national support hasn't changed in a short period of time. So they have to go reevaluate that convergence factor. But they're supposed to converge. Pretty sure it's equal parts towards one another. And then again, it might not enrollment. So yeah, that's the Union. So maybe I just have to put these in earlier. And again, when I do it, I usually will do some of the eco things first, but yeah, I actually don't want to push Washington and the campaign early because now I'm just interested to see what happens to Union recruitment if we let the campaign run a little bit. Action accomplished. So that should be the additional prestige. Though I've also pocketed like a fair amount of money. I feel like in the time. Regular salary. I mean, we are getting that lieutenant general stuff. I don't know where my stock investment money has gone. All right, so well, we'll see. Maybe the national morale break wasn't 50 because the Union just went to 47 and they haven't lost. So maybe I moved it to 44 or 39. I guess we'll see. But for the time being, let's continue the prestige train because. It's quiet. Maybe I should try closer to the action. You You hang on to that thought there, buddy. The action may get closer than you'd like. Huh. Are they continuing to build up? Yup! There they are! 255,000. Alright. So... Alright, well that gives me something to mull over. And if you haven't heard me say this before, the way that AI tends to research things is it will go to a policy and then try to do every act in that policy. Like, rather than moving, you know, doing an act here and then, you know, pulling an act, I don't know, out of military too. It'll try to, like, unlock the policy, and usually it tries to unlock every act. And so I thought for the Union, because they would have a manpower advantage, it made more sense to get their eco stuff lined up early. Because when you take these earlier, like Revenue Act, Impressment Act, Tariff Act, Print Notes, War Bonds, when you do those, or Bank Act, and the Union has both Bank Acts, when you take those earlier, there's usually, okay, there's an exception for the Union's, what is it, the Impressment Act? Usually it's just a one-time hit to support, and then it's you get the payoff for the rest of the campaign. So it makes sense to do earlier. And it's hard to go back and forth between... I find it somewhat hard to go back and forth between the recruitment acts that you want and some of the financial acts that you want. So, but I can probably move some stuff around. Even just move the... these policies, the war bonds and print notes are usually in the emergency credit rating. So when you have your credit rating go deteriorated and you get that alarm and all the other stuff, then the AI will rush to go do those policies. I could take those policies just out of the main tree and yeah, just run it that way. Although I think print notes, you know, if you take it early, we're about to learn what it is, right? It's result in lowering public wealth by 10%. That might be right. I feel like I increase the effect of this, but whatever it is, if it's 10% one time for $50 million a year, you'd want to take it earlier. You can get your public wealth back, and the money coming in rolls in on a 12-month basis. It's also hard if you've never played the game before, and I can't go into the economic thing. You just don't have access to it in Whiskey and Lemons. It doesn't show up as income. What it is, it kind of goes into your bottom line, but you never really see it. You only know it's there if you test it and you're looking out for it, and you know how much you should lose, but you actually lose far less. It's because that money is coming in underneath. All right, so we actually lost a little bit of national support anyways, and I'm kind of assuming that might be casualties from draftees that we might be using. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I'm saying. Finally, the Union surpassed us. All right. All right. All right. For the future CSA Whiskey and Lemons, because I think the way to play this game, if you have both versions, if you're going to do the normal campaign, I used to do a lot of CSA ones because it felt like there was more of a challenge when you get less to deal with. Vanilla campaign plays the Union. Whiskey and Lemons campaign, you can play as the CSA. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the format going forward. Colonel Green. I don't know Colonel Green, but we are into November here. I don't know. I'm kind of really excited now that the Union has come around. I guess they just were not doing draftees, I guess. Let's see what they're up to. So they're going for recruitment bounties too. 54,000 media were recruited. Our economy report. Oh, they constructed a foundry. So I got to change both the AI personnel. They're set to now almost never spend subsidies on buildings, but I think I just need to move it to I think right now it's like 95% is supposed to be spent on projects, and like 5% would be for buildings. All right, so we took improved credit rating, which is what we should be doing. Propaganda, it looks like they took one more take, but it just doesn't seem like those are filling. Those subsidies are not filling at all like they are in regular campaign. Recruitment offices, they should be spamming that. It kind of makes me think back to the beginning of this campaign. Did I select historical? Because these AI personalities, it seems like so much of it is what I set them to do. But the personality will only play through if you select historical. Alright, you should do something about this, because this is going to be a support drain for them. They don't want that. Disaster at Sparta. Fought for 2 days. 29,000 versus 40,000. You couldn't win? Wow. McCullough's core, which I don't think was engaged in that battle. I bet that would have turned the tide, but that's all that kind of stands between the Army of the West and Nashville. I was going to check out my health to see how much weight I've put on just sitting around. Yeah, a lot. So maybe we'll send ourselves to Fat Camp after this. Officer rehabilitated. Cutshaw did nothing wrong. He got wounded. Yeah, that makes sense. He had no failures as cavalry brigade leader. That actually is fake news. Beauregard, all right, you're gonna do your thing there. That's fine. All right, so we have just about all the readiness I could want back. The only question is whether I want to recruit in a still larger force. The answer is almost always yes. I would want that. Yeah, see, you got... But maybe just... I don't think I'd want a new division. I'd probably just add men to existing divisions. 20. But we got to see if there's anything that's open here that actually has volunteers. Otherwise, we got to take drafts. Uh-oh. We plundered West Virginia. We picked it clean. So we'd have to go to drafts. I like how North Carolina has 47,000 deserters and 35,000 men fielded. Yeah, I really got to nerf desertion because it just ain't fun. As important as it was just one of those things that, you know, along with sickness and strategic level intelligence, well, heck, tactical level intelligence, you don't really need to care too much about those things in vanilla because they're not that important. And if you try to make them important, you have to move so many other things around to try to get it to balance. You end up spending more time trying to get them to mod the game to make sense than actually playing it and enjoying it. So, wouldn't recommend that. All right, readiness. We can just leave our cab scouting for that. Recruitment. Now that is actually a larger number of disabled than what we had before. Go away. So we'll see if that helps us get what I think we need. Eager morale should be fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we're not undertaking an offensive in the winter. You guys can go ahead and do that on your own. Planning with staff, no. We'll put more into leisure. Actually, we won't. We're going to put more into... Actually, we're already getting max benefit here from... So we'll put more into leisure time. That's fine. My goodness. They really want me to do something. How is the AI? They're hanging on, man. Ugh. They're up to 333,000. Yes, finally. And they should have the money and the credit and everything to be able to field this force. Of course, they have to train it up, but they have the military experience to do it. It's just I don't know that they're going to be able to knock these forces out quick enough to stop the support or morale drain from being occupied by us, the enemy. I am very tempted, since we're not really doing anything, to go in and start engaging the forts around Alexandria. Well, on the Washington side of the Potomac. And if the AA wants to stop me, they can. Since I don't think I'm going to show up as a reinforcement. Well, look how much readiness we lost by doing that, though. So, yeah, maybe we'll just hang out here. Again, that's the dangers of winter movement. I see you, Army of Northeastern Virginia. How much you got? 45,000. I am willing to fight that. All right, we got 9.6k prestige. I think, yeah, I'm gonna send myself to Fat Camp here, because we're gonna get too heavy and fall off our horse. Let's see here. Oh yeah, we were waiting. That's right. We know that. Yeah, because we burned a bunch of this readiness. Chesapeake Affair. $46.46. Wow, our support's dropping too. Good thing it's national morale. That's the thing that kind of knocks you out. Yeah, Union has won more battles. But they haven't... I mean, it hasn't really translated... Look at this. I mean, it hasn't translated even into carving off West Virginia. They do have... It looks like complete control here of Kentucky. Pretty much. Pretty much. I don't know if this army is... I don't know what they're doing. Dyersburg. Walker's Corps is kind of just sitting out here. That's... Yeah, I mean, if it's... That's some core you got there. Yeah. Yeah, I'd be very interested to see... They lost George Taylor and Zealous Tower. Zealous Tower? I don't know. I'm guessing it's the winter weather that's yeah, that's suffering from hostile casualties. Well, they're in good spirits. Man, nobody is happy with their leaders. Union recruits offered bounties, so while I think that'll put a negative morale effect on their soldiers, it does give them access to more troops. So that's... Honestly, you can get the morale of your soldiers back in a number of ways. They should be okay with that, right? We know that we're doing Fat Camp, and yeah. At this point, I'm not really even worried about playing. I think I stopped worrying about playing optimally a long time ago, and we're just kind of memeing around here. Role-playing. Sorry, not memeing around. And hopefully I was right about the sound mix. But we haven't got into a real battle, so we don't know. I guess we'll go with this view. Is everybody content to just sit? Or maybe everybody is building up and doesn't want to burn readiness. That's the roleplay explanation I'll give. I like this supply depot idea here. Seriously, this is a supply desert. Like this whole, much of West Virginia is a supply desert. Particularly moving through. Usually somebody builds something over at Grafton. And sometimes supplies kind of trickle in, at least as far as, what is this, Charleston. Oh, and we built a supply depot here. All right. And Pickett's Corps is on the offensive in, sorry, is that Marietta, Ohio? Yeah. All right, so this should be the new, improved, and somewhat slimmed down version of GreatScots. Although my health actually went down a little bit. Maybe it's because, I don't know. Just the burden of Fat Camp was just a lot. We could try to get administration up a little bit, but I feel like the more important thing for the time being is going to be to get our infantry some experience, particularly the newer brigades. Just any little bit of extra experience to tack on to the training that they've been getting. I don't know what they're up to. I'll guess they're probably at average right now. All right, let's find out. Click at it here, and nope, they're still stuck on poor. So we didn't even make it to average yet. Okay, well, that happens. I think I'm gonna put you on pause because now like nothing is moving on the map, and at least before we could comment on the other interesting ideas the AI had, but I think for right now we gotta hold off. And I wonder, is this? We have 71,000 prisoners in a prison camp. Yeah, so I guess before I put you on pause, I'll mention that there is supposed to be a support penalty that it actually just gives support to the other side if you have overcrowded prison camps. But I think I nerfed it away on both sides so that neither side had to worry about building prison camps, because I tried to keep both sides from building buildings, because a lot of buildings, even when you know what you're doing, aren't going to make their money back, and the AI frequently doesn't make good judgment about what it's doing. So that was kind of what I was talking about a little bit earlier, where if you try to mod things in a direction you want to go, you have to remember the rest of the game isn't set up to do that. So you have to try to think of all the other things you need to mod, so that, you know, kind of plugging one hole here doesn't create 2 or 3 other holes somewhere else. And, you know, I've been doing this for 3.5 years, and the modding has really only gone off in the last 1.5 or 2 years, but it is still far from perfect process. Welcome back. So yeah, it's March, and yeah, so we see that they get the Enrollment Act and improved credit ratings, civil order, parrot rifles, organization reform, medium range carbines, Springfield rifles. Yeah. So welcome to my world. And also our morale support continues to decline almost inexplicably, whereas the Union, the morale and support kind of froze around 45 for a while, and here we are. So now we've almost caught up to them. We have to be just depleting our drafts. That's the only thing I can think of. Yeah, that's how we're keeping up. The AI is just, my AI is just panic recruiting all of them. And so whenever we end up going into conflict or combat and we take casualties, not my army. So this is why I think I'll probably do the fighting. I moved right up to the border here. We still have a lot of disabled. It's because, you know, I do forget about this, is that the entrenchment level, and if you're in scouting, then you're not in the guard mode, right? Guarding would reduce the number of disabled, but whatever. That's the idea is that we could probably launch an attack pretty early. The army of Lincoln is small. It's hiding the army that's under it, which was larger than ours before. I don't know if we can hit that army without engaging either of the forts. I kind of hope so, but I think that's going to be the play. Let's try to zoom out, not hear that. That's probably going to be the play once this season ends. In camp, we're still, well, my goodness, man, the clouds here. We've thrown a lot more into exercise troops just to see if I can get the perks to move at all. My initial impression is pretty much no. It doesn't look like anything that has a perk has moved in the last 6 weeks on max settings, but maybe we need to do more. Notice that these are the new brigades and they get battle experience, right? So they're coming in with 2 stars because we've done, I believe it's 2 takes of the infantry specialists. Yeah, so this would be if we want to do a 3rd. So it is very good. I will say that, particularly when you're ready to field a lot of troops, it is very good at getting those troops some XP. So yeah, on the overall picture, it's okay. So now they're a bit further away than they were. We know all that. our debt has gone up to 1. I remember just a few months ago it was 1.2 billion, and so we've taken on a lot of debt in the last 6 months. But again, I think it probably has to do with us trying to panic. I don't know how the AI calculates, the friendly AI calculates its recruitment ratio, because there's only one recruitment ratio. It's supposed to be for the AI that's in the campaign prefs. And so I think that supposes that, right, you're normally managing recruitment and then the AI tries to keep up, either have more or less, but some sort of ratio when the troops are available. I have no idea what happens when both AIs are trying to keep up with what? Are they both trying to reach the same recruitment ratio as the other? I don't know. It's one of the things that just boggles my mind as to why there weren't two separate recruit ratios. One for when the Union AI is doing its thing, and the other for the CSA AI, and that's what would click in when you set it to auto-manage, rather than just having a blanket recruit ratio for in AI to keep up. But whatever. It's fine. Well, I mean, it's fine unless it ends up costing us the campaign. All right. I really think it is set to 39. I'm not sure. Does it tell break Union morale? I don't trust this because I don't think I edited the text. Yeah, it always says below 25, but I didn't edit the text in there when I messed with the campaign settings. So I think maybe it's 39. We might find out very soon, in which case this was very, very anticlimactic. Except I did learn the problem to the Union recruiting thing. And this is like the idea behind the campaign, is that the Union should out-recruit the CSA. And the CSA has a choice as to whether to take it or dip into their drafts. And if they dip into their drafts, then they're going to take the support hit. We haven't been spamming propaganda nearly enough. The cost of that should be really low. We finally did 1 take of improved credit rating. Yeah, I mean, 5 takes of propaganda, I would do that probably in a year or so if I were doing this. And it also seems like we still have no policy being researched, and I'm not going to expend prestige to do it, even though it would probably be advantageous to. The AI should, my AI should be doing that, so we will see. We will see what happens here, but maybe just by pure attrition. But the idea was that the Union would... My goodness. Both sides are just loving these railroads. Maybe I got to do something with railroads now. Because they're not... For the CSA, they should build 1 railroad, but there's no way that I can really pick the railroad that they build. And after that, most of those railroads won't make their money back in the course of many campaigns. Yeah, all right. So we are into campaigning season. We're going to get a new intel report, see what they've been up to in the last month. 11,000 more men. They finally went for legal blockade. I wasn't even sure that they had that. 41 and 41. I don't know. I'd still like to be able to watch the AI fight the AI. Maybe not on camera. Probably on camera. But it is worth noting, like, how the AI makes its decisions for when you're trying to mod it. And if you can actually see the way it plays out, some of the things make more sense. But then you wonder, like, well, why doesn't the AI do this to me? It probably does, but there's some hang up. Got a good surround going here. Maybe it's time to launch the plan, which is the attack on Washington. We're going to take ourselves out of scouting, and we're going to go for it. No more other stuff. But yeah. Let's try not to nick a fort, but we may well. Oh no! Oh no! Now, hold on here. Hold on. I have 1 day to beat a force that's twice my size and then get out. I don't know if I believe that the Army of Lincoln is really that good. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. But it's going to have to wait for the next episode. So I hope to have you back for what I believe will be the culmination of Campaign 16.